So maybe this will seem obvious to people who know a little bit more about the business, but I thought it was worth making just a quick short video about it for aspiring screenwriters, working screenwriters, experienced screenwriters, people who think they might want to be screenwriters, and talk about a disadvantage that you're going to go into every project with, which is if you generated the idea. And I've never really heard anyone flat out say this. I've said it offhand a couple of times, but I think it's worth articulating dead on. If you generate an idea, when it comes time to manifest that idea into reality with all the money and collaboration it takes to make a movie, you will inevitably find yourself in rooms with producers, with execs, with actors, with everyone on the movie, where you realize in this awkward way that you are the only one there really fighting from the heart. Now, of course, sometimes directors and actors, production designers, VFX people, and even producers and execs will really get your idea, really get your script in the same way you do. And they'll want to manifest it the way you would want it. But 9 times out of 10, that is not the case. And instead, your script connected to something and inspired something in them that is adjacent to your idea of the movie, certainly related, although sometimes not, except they want to manifest it in a different way. And they are approaching this as a job and a project, whereas you are approaching it as an extension of yourself and a piece of art that you created, hopefully to manifest into money in a movie. So every time in these rooms, when you get a note, when you get a change, when you're called upon to not necessarily defend, sometimes defend in more contentious rooms, but usually explain and sort of make points, salient points about why something shouldn't change or should, you'll be the one whose feelings are caught up. Inevitably, I find myself throughout screenwriting defending an art project that at its heart is not an art project. The script is just a blueprint for an investment in a potential movie. Very few scripts are New York Times bestsellers. So you need this gang of people, of other artists, to all be on board with at least a somewhat similar artistic vision that you had when you were alone in a room. Screenwriters are the only person in the entertainment industry on the film side who does something completely alone in a room. They are step one, point one of the business, right? A lot of ideas can come from producers, execs, actors, directors. But at the end of the day, the majority of ideas are a nugget from a screenwriter, something that inspired them. So you exist. The reason screenwriters are thought of as, not whiners, but as there being conflict between the screenwriter and the director, the screenwriter, the producer, all these different things. Oh, the original draft of Bright is so different from the movie for me, stuff like that. It all comes down to the fact that the screenwriter is the one in the room with the least power and the most feelings on the line, the most emotions on the line. And you need to go into that as a writer, into every room you go into, because once you're in those rooms, selling your project, defending story points, offering rewrites, being constructive and helping people to make the movie more producible or more in line with the artistic vision of the various other artists who have signed on, you need, and I know it's hard, and I feel for you because I've been there so many times myself, but you need to emotionally detach and remember this is a job, because it's from that logistical, how do I do the job thinking rather than how do I defend my art thinking. That's where the best ideas, thoughts, and collaboration come from. And you just need to hope that everyone there is in good faith and respects you. I've been in the room with directors who respect me. I've been in the room with directors who don't and who are there to do their thing. I have felt the same way about every part of the industry. But by and large, when the film industry is described from people outside of it, they sort of neglect to mention that because art is a subjective commodity that has no objective worth, actually, all the stuff about social climbing and relationships, nepotism and buddy-buddy and networking of Los Angeles, yeah, because it's an arts community. No one's right or wrong about movies. How many movies have you really loved that a bunch of people hated? How many movies have you really hated that everyone else loved? Well, that feeling exists the whole way through film production. It's never not like that because you are making that thing. And the reason movies get so weird sometimes really don't work is everyone's just not on the same page. So my advice to screenwriters is find a way to be on the same page. Some artists won't let you on the same page because they just want to do their thing. But the people who will let you on their page, that's where you're going to find the best stuff.